Welcome to Better Together, the podcast where we go behind the scenes on what truly goes on at xrecruiter. I'm Emmeline, and in this series, I'll be sitting down with the people that make everything happen, from leadership to the people behind the scenes, helping our partners succeed every day. We'll talk about how we help recruiters build their own business, what really goes on in supporting our partners, and the stories behind the people doing the work. You have no idea how excited I am to welcome our very special guest, Alex Taylor, Partner Success Manager at xrecruiter. Alex, thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate you having me. It should be a fun one.
Let's kick it off. Before xrecruiter, tell us a bit about your background.
Oh God, how long you got? So I've been in sales, coaching, people, leadership, management in some form or another for over a decade. Started early days in sales, contact centers, all the normal fun stuff. Worked my way into a leadership position, early 20s. Got my passion for management, coaching, all of that jazz. Worked in recruitment with Matt Cossens actually, originally at Orec, which is where I got my lay of the land and learnt the craft, shall we say. Worked there for a few years, went with him to another business where I ended up running a delivery team, built a desk out from scratch, running some big accounts, had some fun, and decided to move on to another role in sales performance leadership for a large organization. Realized enterprises were too big, so decided to come back to startups and have a bit more fun at xrecruiter.
Okay, and how do you make your way into xrecruiter?
7 a.m. phone call from Matt, which only means one thing, means he's got a job for you. Oh look, I actually went to school with Blake, so it's a bit of a funny story. I used to live across the road from him, so when he launched it, I saw it on LinkedIn. I'd been keeping an eye on it for a while. I was actually going to approach xrecruiter at one point with a business pitch of my own for them to establish a certain department that I won't get into, but I was going to do that, and then I saw that Matt ended up coming here, and having worked for Matt, having gone to school with Blake, I was like, oh, interesting. So when the opportunity came up to jump in with the lads, I had to check it out.
Wow, it's a full circle moment. How do you feel working with them after all of these prior experiences?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I actually feel the responsibility, is how I actually feel. So I've been trusted, obviously, by Blake to come into the business, trusted by Matt, who's put his name against mine. So I feel the responsibility. But it feels good, it's fun, it's fast, it's got pace, it's got different challenges, it's new puzzles all the time, and that's what I wanted. So in my last role where I wasn't that satisfied, shall we say, or that engaged, it was kind of the same thing all the time. Couldn't deal. So this is not that, I can assure you. This is something different all the time. I actually got asked earlier, literally today, this morning, when I was catching up with one of the partners, and he's like, surely you can just share something with me that you've shared with another partner that'll kick me into gear. And I was like, man, it's actually so different, partner to partner, that I can't just rinse and repeat, it's one of my favorite things about the job. So it feels hard, it feels good, feels rewarding, but yeah, loving it.
Interesting. Tell us more about that. So for someone who doesn't know what you do at xrecruiter, and it's a lot, describe what that is in your words.
I help partners be successful. So what that looks like for each partner is very different. So some partners have a very, very clear idea on their science, shall we say. They've got their processes and they know what to do, but maybe they struggle a little bit with their art and they need a little bit of help with whether it's pitch building or operational excellence, leadership, something like that. Other partners have their art completely sorted and they need a bit of accountability and they need to be held to a bit of a rhythm and make sure that they've got the right processes in play. So I like to think that I bridge the gap between the art and the science. Most partners are inherently guided towards one or the other and they're really good at it. Some partners are brilliant at both, but I like to try and bridge the gap between that for the partners and make sure that they've got the behaviours and the playbook to win, basically.
Nice. I like the way you look at that. Your role, so you've had this successful background in sales, you've managed high-performing sales teams. What's been the kind of defining moment for you between actually doing the work to now coaching and teaching the work? What's the transition there for you been like?
Yeah, that's really easy for me to answer. When I was young and I was selling and I got off to a really good start, I was always like, cool, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I approached my leader at the time, really good leader. I said to her, I was like, look, I want to be able to do more, but how do I do more than what I'm doing right now in this chair? And she said, well, if you want to have a bigger impact, you're going to have to get in front of a team. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, if you're one person selling, great, you can run a desk, you can make money. But if you're running a team of 10 and they're all selling at the same level as you are, that's 10x your impact. So you want to hire impact, you want to do more, we got to look at leadership. And that's when I first got invited into leadership development programs, etc. And that's where I think I got a little bit more engagement from a role, because like I love sales, always have. Sales is just communication, and communication is something you can't master. You're always working on it. So it's an unsolvable problem, which is what I love about it. But leadership, you have to then entangle like emotions, psychology, people, all of that, plus the communication side, and the problem is just so much harder to solve, and that's why it's fun, and that's why I'll never completely solve it. But that's what I try and get better at solving every day.
For someone who is trying to constantly develop their communication, you're saying you can't ever fully master it. How would you go about even trying to get better at that if you were a recruiter?
Cool. To communicate or to speak is to think. To think, in my opinion, the best way to get better at thinking is reading and writing. So I was always a reader growing up, and I think that's like a key part of my interest in communication was seeing how different authors wrote, or seeing how different things could be presented just with the English language, and then going on from there to writing. So I'm not saying everybody should go out and practice poetry by any stretch, but I think if you want to be a better communicator, you need to understand your own patterns and your own internal dialogue, and writing is what kind of identifies that. So I think if you're writing an email to a client, you can look at it in 10 different ways. And I work with a lot of different recruiters, and if you were to give them the same task in terms of sending an email, they would all come out different, right? So there's a million different ways of doing things. If you collected 100,000 and then tried to identify a pattern, you would start to see patterns in communication. So I think if I was trying to get better at communication, I would try to understand what my pattern is, and then I would look at the people who have a similar pattern that are doing it at a high level, and I'd reach out and talk to them, I'd pick up the phone, or I'd write to them, and I'd say, hey, this is what I'm trying to get better at. You seem to be great at it. How can I learn from you? Can I buy you lunch and bring my notepad?
There you go. It's as simple as reaching out.
Just that easy. Just pick up the phone.
I like that. So you've seen a lot of recruiters start their own agencies. You've seen a lot of ambitious recruiters start their own agencies, but ambition and actually executing on those thoughts are two different things. So how do you actually help a recruiter who is ambitious execute what they set out to execute?
Yeah, cool. First thing is define success, right? You got an ambition. What's the end goal? Like, where are you trying to go? What are you really trying to do? You start at the end. You can reverse engineer the steps to where you are today. People who come in, they say, "I want to bill $1 million." It's like, awesome, but what's $1 million actually going to do for you? What changes in your life if you do $1 million? Because if you do 990, are you saying you won't have those things? It's like, well, actually, the $1 million might be attached to something like, well, I want to be able to say, I'm $1 million biller. It's not actually the life that comes with it. Success is different for everyone else, for everybody. So define like what is your success, and then let's look at the people again who have that and figure out what it is they do. One of the things that I've been able to do, and one of the skills that I work on all the time, is when you're looking at people being able to analyze their behaviors, you've got to be able to figure out what makes them win, right? So if you want to scale a team, for instance, you can't hire a bunch of people and say, here, do what I do. This is what works for me, so everybody go and do it, right? You can't just clone yourself. You have to be able to look at what people do and help them get really, really, really good at it until they're the best version of themselves, is the way to look at it. The only way to be able to do all of that is to analyze their behaviors and their patterns. So look at the successful people, look at the people who have delivered on the ambition, analyze what makes them great, repackage it, and give it to the people that have the ambition. That's my job, is I look at the best partners we have and the best recruiters that I see, I understand what makes them great, and I communicate that with ambitious recruiters that are coming in. It's normally a bit of a wake up for some people when you realize how much work is involved in getting to what that success looks like. It's hard work being a successful business owner. If anybody thinks it's going to be really, really easy, bit of a surprise coming their way. But how do we do it? We draw a map, and then we walk it with them. And when it gets really hard and they want to turn around and go back, we push them ahead. We say, nah, you got it. You drew it. That's where you want to go.
True.
Let's keep going. We'll get there eventually.
What are the biggest surprises for them, do you think?
First one, the biggest surprise, not even a surprise, but the biggest challenge, or the biggest hurdle that they're going to have to get over is everybody who told you how successful they want you to be and how many people wished you well, they're not going to pay your bills for you, right? They're going to wish you well, but a lot of people are going to wish you well from the sidelines. Running a successful business means constantly getting new clients, new customers. I've had a small business, completely different industry, but I got all the promises in the world from people saying, yeah, when you get that started, we'll be there, we'll support you. And they might do for a week or a month, but that doesn't get your business off the ground. If you want to get your business off the ground, you need to constantly be getting new customers. You need to constantly be going and representing your brand. So social selling, having a brand, having a voice in market. Active selling, so business development, which that's something that I think a lot of people get surprised by when they launch. They think business development is going to be a little bit easier than it actually is. And then referrals-based selling. You have to leverage your network because all those people who told you they're going to support you, hold them to it.
So, I mean, you've named all those things. It's very well and good to say those things, but what actually separates like your average performers from your really high performers in your mind?
Few things. If I think about the best recruiters that I work with, they all have a system. They all have a very, very clear understanding of what they do that makes them win. There are some that come to mind who I think have a little bit of a, should we say, like a rabbit hole mentality. They like new things coming along and they go down the rabbit hole, and that's fine. I think part of the fun or part of their engagement in running their business is the freedom to do that. Like, you don't just have to sit at your desk and do the same thing all day, every day. That's not what running your own recruitment desk is about, or running your own recruitment business is about. But nonetheless, the best recruiters that I work with, they have a system and they don't sacrifice it for anyone. At least 80% of what they do, shall we say, is prescribed, and they could do it regularly. The other 20%, I mean, that's your fun. Like, you want to go and have meetings with certain people, you want to go and play golf, you want to do whatever with your other 20%, go for it. But I think you've got to draw some guardrails around your revenue generating activities, and you need to identify what are the things that I do that allow me to win, how can I do them regularly enough that I win enough to generate enough revenue to live the life that I want.
So it's building a system, sticking to the system, and maybe some other things on the side that come up from time to time.
Also having 20% of fun along the way. Yeah, you got to enjoy what you do. You got to enjoy what you do.
So you've helped a lot of agency founders. If you could really dwindle it down to one big piece of advice, if there was a recruiter wanting to start their own agency, what would that be?
Talk to people who have done it. A lot of people get analysis paralysis, right? You sit there and you're thinking about it all the time. You're looking at what if this, what if that. There's a million what ifs, but talk to the people who have done it. Reach out to the people you know that have started an agency or that have started their own business. You want to see what it's like to walk in someone's shoes, like ask to borrow the shoes. Like, go and sit in their office with them while they're working and see what it's like. Just stop thinking about it and make a move. You can think about it forever. You can always, always, always think about it. Actually doing it, that's not always going to be available. So if you're in a position where you've got the opportunity, go and reach out to the people who have done it. Find out what it's like from their side. Talk to people you trust, obviously. Don't just go and ask anybody. But just start talking to the people who have done it already, and they'll tell you. Because if they're any kind of friend, they'll tell you all like the warts and all. It's not going to be like, oh, it's just so easy. Dial this number and you're a millionaire. Like, there's work to do. There's hard work to do. But I mean, the reward is equal. Like, I see some of the partners that we work with, some of the goals that they've been able to achieve by some very, very modest ages. Some of the freedoms that they've been able to create, some of the investment portfolios that they've been able to grow in like 2 years. Like, it's absurd. So, like, it's hard, but yeah, the rewards are there. So yeah, talk to the people. Can be. If you're willing to put in the work, right? It's that old saying, we all got told it coming up. You can be anything you want to be. It's like, if you're willing to pay the price, yeah, you can. There is a price. And if you're willing to pay it and you show up day in, day out and you pay it, I mean, this game this game can set you up for sure.
Pay the price and get the reward.
That's it.
Okay,
So,
last question.
all right.
We talk a lot about community at xrecruiter, and better together is something we always come back to. What does that actually mean to you?
It's similar to the old, what's that saying? It takes a village. There's so many different types of recruiter, shall we say. We have everything from blue collar to exec search to everything in between, right? Better together, in my opinion, is access to a community of recruiters that, regardless of where you fit in the recruitment spectrum between temp and perm to high volume to high fee, low volume, wherever you sit, there's probably someone similar to you that's facing similar challenges. I heard one of the partners who comes into the Melbourne office all the time, and they said, look, since I've been coming in, the numbers speak for themselves. And I was like, why? Like, why is it different just being here? And he goes, well, I'm sitting around other people that are facing the same problem that I'm facing. So when I'm having a rough day and I look over and someone else is having the same rough day, I don't think I'm crazy for doing what I'm doing. So better together is, it takes a village, and you'll be surrounded by people who have been there, done that, people who are there and doing that, and then eventually people that are trying to get there and starting to do that maybe you can help out. So, I mean, what better way to learn than to teach, right? So if you want to eventually do it, you can mentor other people, and it creates this cycle of recruiters that, I don't know, knowledge sharing, skills sharing, sanity checking, all that. Plus, obviously, the people that we have internally that you can pick up the phone and talk to whenever, and whether it's marketing ideas, design ideas, finance queries, leadership development, sales, candidate management, whatever.
100%. I was talking earlier today to one of the partners about how valuable it is just hearing conversations from other recruiters. And I can probably attribute 90% of my learnings from literally just sitting in a room with other recruiters and just hearing how they talk and how they manage deals and how they handle conflicts and things like that. So honestly, it's like one of the biggest, most invaluable things about xrecruiter, I would say, is just having those people there in your network that you can go back to.
For sure, the sponge factor, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna slowly absorb what's around you. It's why, like, sales teams always have a sales floor, right? You always put your salespeople with other salespeople. Why? Not because salespeople are always going to get along. I think we've all known salespeople that haven't got along with other salespeople, let's put it that way. But when you're surrounded by people doing something at a high level, you naturally absorb a little bit of what they're doing. So 100%. Sponge factor is huge.
Totally agree. AT, you're the best. Thanks for catching up.
Easy.
Thanks for your wisdom.
Thanks for having me.
And keen to see what else you do at xrecruiter.
Nice one. Appreciate you.